Good evening. Welcome to South Asia Newsline. I am Arjun Chaudhary. Here are the top stories we're tracking for you on Wednesday, the 1st of July. Documents linking Pakistan's MQM to Indian spy agency are fake, says London police. Former Sri Lankan President Rajapaksa announces candidature for general elections. And demand for demilitarization of politics gets louder in Myanmar. And now for all the details. An alleged confession statement by Muttahida Qawami Movement leader linking the party to India's Secret Service agency is fake, the British police has confirmed. Pakistani media citing unverified documents had reported that the MQM was receiving funds from India.
The London Metropolitan Police on Tuesday clarified that the alleged confession of MQM leader Tariq Mir was not its official document. The British investigators said they have closely examined the statement of Mir and the allegedly leaked documents and stated that the two were not the same. The purported declaration of Mir appeared online last week, which Pakistani media reported as evidence to links between MQM and an Indian intelligence agency. The documents were allegedly leaked days after the BBC, citing unnamed sources, said that the MQM was receiving funds and arms training from Indian intelligence since 1994. The MQM had, however, denied all charges and accused that the party was facing a media trial. The Nawaz Sharif government had, however, immediately ordered a probe into the matter solely based on the news report. Reacting to the development, MQM Supremo Altaf Hussain said that there was a conspiracy by the Pakistani establishment to blunt his party's popularity. Addressing his supporters in Karachi from his London residence, Hussain also appealed to the Amnesty International, Human Rights Watch and other rights organizations to take notice of the torturing of MQM workers in police custody.
Targeting innocent people in the holy month of Ramzan is an act against Islam and humanity, Afghan President Ashraf Ghani has said. His statement came after the country was hit by two Taliban suicide attacks on Tuesday.
Afghanistan President Ashraf Ghani strongly condemned the rise in Taliban violence against civilians during the Islamic holy month of Ramzan. The country has of late been witnessing a spike in Taliban violence across, targeting both civilians and government establishments. The terror group had last month rejected an appeal by senior Afghan clerics to suspend attacks during the fasting month of Ramzan. The insurgents had, however, refused to comply, stating that they would step up violence. Earlier on Tuesday, President Ghani reiterated that Afghanistan, which stood as a country for more than 5,000 years, will not collapse due to terror attacks. This comes even as a resurgent Taliban continues to wreak havoc across the country. Two civilians were killed in a suicide blast targeting a NATO convoy near the diplomatic area in capital Kabul on Tuesday. Over a dozen injured continue to be treated in a city hospital. Two people were also killed and some 50 others injured in another suicide attack in southern Helmand, a traditional stronghold of the Taliban, earlier in the day. The target of the attack was the police headquarters.
کله چې موټر بم د سایت راستلی وو زموږ د پاس ټاور هغه باندې انداختو کړ ټایر یې وویسته او مخې ته موانع هم وه نو ده ونسو کولی چې راتېر سي هغه ته ځان ته انفجار وکړ دوه نفران نور انتحاریان چې غوښتل یې د ده له انفجار نه وروسته ځان تېر کړي راواړی معناني خواته هغه هم په ډېر وارخطایي سره بېرته شاته منډه کړله او پولیس په تعقیب کې وو او د پولیسو لخوا
The twin attacks come a week after the Taliban carried out a suicide attack at the Afghan parliament, killing 5 people. The repeated strikes have posed a huge challenge to the Afghan National Army, which is trying to fill in the vacuum left behind after the withdrawal of the NATO troops.
Former Sri Lankan President Mahinda Rajapaksa on Wednesday announced of leading the opposition faction in the parliamentary elections due next month. Speaking to a crowd of supporters at his native village of Medamulana, Rajapaksa said he could not disregard the feelings of his followers and opt out of the August 17th polls. He, however, did not state the name of the party he will contest from. Rajapaksa's decision comes a day after President Maithripala Sirisena said that the Sri Lanka Freedom Party will not have a prime ministerial candidate in the run-up to the elections. Rajapaksa is eyeing a comeback into power after suffering an unexpected defeat in the presidential elections early this year to his former cabinet colleague Sirisena. The political atmosphere in the island nation further heated up, with ex-president Chandrika Kumaratunga stating that she too would run for candidacy if Rajapaksa contested for the post of Prime Minister. The civil society in Myanmar are protesting and demanding the removal of military from the country's politics. Myanmar Parliament had last week voted down a measure to scrap the military's effective legislative veto.
Scores of students took out a peaceful demonstration in Yangon on Tuesday against the presence of military in the politics of the country. Myanmar emerged from 49 years of military rule in 2011 and is now run by a quasi-civilian government. Its constitution, however, reserves a quarter of the parliamentary seats for the unelected members of the military, giving it an effective veto power. Protesters, mostly university students, took to the streets demanding the military representatives to step down.
Democracy we have your
The Myanmar Parliament requires support of 75% of the lawmakers to amend the constitution. The lawmakers had last week voted to retain the legislative veto of the military, since this would have cut the support threshold to 70%. Many said the significance of parliament and democracy has been lost in the process. Last week's vote had also barred opposition leader Aung San Suu Kyi from running for presidency in the 2015 elections. The Nobel laureate, who was released in 2010 after 21 years of house arrest, has been fighting to establish a democracy in the country for decades.
Pakistan government has constituted a joint investigation team to probe the murder of MQM leader Imran Farooq. The move comes a day after a team from the Scotland Yard quizzed the two suspects who were arrested in Pakistan last month. The government said the newly formed special investigation team will assist the Scotland Yard in the probe. However, it hasn't clarified whether the two agencies will jointly investigate the suspects. Imran Farooq, a founding member of the MQM, was stabbed to death outside his London residence in 2010. Drug trade in Afghanistan has witnessed a steady rise despite government's efforts to put a check on it. The country is a hotbed of narcotics production in the world.
Afghanistan is the largest producer of illicit drugs in the world, accounting for 90% of it. The country accounts for a bulk opium production with a record high of over 224,000 hectares of poppy field. More than 10% of its population, which stands at 3 million people, are said to be drug addicts. The staggering figures were revealed at a conference held by the Drug Control Department of the country in capital Kabul recently.
سروی که در سال 2012 راه اندازی گردید گراف معتادین را 1.3 میلیون الی 1.6 میلیون معتاد اعلام نموده بود، ولی در سروی سال 2015 ارقام معتادین که همیشه به طور دوامدار از مواد مخدر استفاده می نمایند 1.4 میلیون و افرادی که تست مثبت مواد مخدر در وجودشان تثبیت گردیده 2.1 میلیون تن و مجموعاً 3.5 میلیون تن اعلان گردید.
Experts said the reason for growing drug trade in Afghanistan was due to the thick profit margin it provides to the traffickers. The Afghan government has so far not been able to break the profit chain shared by Taliban militants, drug dealers and opium growers.
The insurgent provide services which includes to insecure the territory for farmers. In return, the farmers provide taxes. The insurgents provide security to the drug traffickers in order to easily traffic drugs from one part of the country to other part of the country. In return, the drug traffickers provide and supplies weapons.
This comes despite authorities stepping up efforts to curb the drug menace. A total of 1,100 tons of drugs were seized in the last 3 years and 9,450 drug dealers were arrested. The Health Ministry and other non-governmentals have also set up over 100 rehabilitation centers across the country.
Known to taking charge of the box office during Ramzan, the man with the Midas touch returns with yet another awaited film. Will he hold on the festivities? Take a look.
सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना, संकट हरे मिटे सब पीरा.
After ruling the silver screen with films like Kick, Bodyguard, Dabangg and Wanted, superstar Salman Khan plans to take over Eid this year too, with Bajrangi Bhaijaan. The cast and crew held a promotional in entertainment capital Mumbai. Director Kabir Khan, leading lady Kareena Kapoor and actor Nawazuddin Siddiqui also joined in. Salman, who turns producer with his latest outing, said the script intrigued him to don the new hat.
जब हमने फर्स्ट टाइम ये स्क्रिप्ट सुनी थी तो एक वो ग्रीड आता है ना कि ये फिल्म किसी और के पास नहीं जाना चाहिए. There is such a beautiful story told कि I don't think that anyone would have been able to tell the story better than Kabir and me.
जनाब बिल्कुल मेंटल है ये.
Bajrangi Bhaijaan aims at continuing Salman's winning streak at the box office as he teams up with his Ekha Tiger director Kabir Khan one more time. Kabir added that the film would be loved for its simplicity.
कि अब तो हम मुन्नी को खुद उसके घर छोड़कर ही आएंगे.
Nice, intimate, warm human relationship story, but set against this very energetic backdrop. And it's also the issue, the politics of the film, the way people behave is something that is very close to my heart and very close to Salman's heart.
जय श्री राम.
Kareena, who is a regular at making appearances in Salman's films, said despite a small role this time, she was happy to be a part of the big project.
We try to keep it as real and very unlike, I think, a typical Hindi film heroine, because as you know, Kabir is very, very real as a director. I mean, if you try to wear extra jewelry or a little more accessories, he's like, you're too overdressed for the scene. So I think that we try to keep it as real, and I'm really happy and excited about the entire film and to be part of the entire film.
A mute girl from Pakistan loses her way at the border and finds herself stranded in India. With no way to head back, she finds solace in magnanimous spirited man who takes it on himself to help the little girl return to her motherland and reunite with her family. The film opens on July 17th.
Well, that's the way it was in South Asia this evening. Before we conclude the top stories once again. Documents linking Pakistan's MQM to Indian spy agency are fake, says London police. Former Sri Lankan President Rajapaksa announces candidature for general elections. And demand for demilitarization of politics gets louder in Myanmar. Now our viewers can watch the show on SouthAsiaNews9.com. You can also visit us on Facebook.com/SAsiaNews9 and follow us on Twitter @SAsiaNews9. That's all in tonight's edition. We'll see you same time tomorrow. Good night.